During a press conference in KwaZulu-Natal on July 6, 2025, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi informed South Africans that certain police officers, judges, unidentified Gauteng prosecutors, politicians, and correctional services officials were allegedly members of a crime syndicate run by a drug cartel. President Cyril Ramaphosa was ultimately prompted by these accusations to establish the Madlanga Commission, a judicial commission of inquiry into criminality, political interference, and corruption in the criminal justice system. The Madlanga Commission has exposed significant corruption in the SAPS, leading to the suspension or dismissal of top officers and the appearance of others in court, despite the fact that many criticized it as just another expensive commission that will provide no fruitful outcomes. But the highest echelons of law enforcement have been affected by the commission.
You'll be joining Vusi Matlala and 15 others in the block. What's your response to that, General?
Well, the alleged have done certain things, corruption and that. And I have not done corruption. I am charged in PFMA, so I don't understand why I should join it, but probably the choice is not mine.
In addition to the suspension of National Police Commissioner General Fanny Masemola and his deputy, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, there have been arrests, dismissals, or court appearances of a number of senior officers and other individuals implicated during the process. After receiving the Commission's initial interim report, Ramaphosa declared in January 2026 that a specialized SAPS task force would be established. 3 months later, investigations were still ongoing and arrests had already been made. Police admit that the probe led to the creation of a task team and expedited multiple investigations, despite their insistence that the arrests have nothing to do with the information that was submitted before the panel.
Breaking news, a Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has been suspended with immediate effect.
I know they want to push me out. I will never resign. They must fire me. Now, in my case, I'm under pressure, I'm under siege. I'm being called a criminal daylight in front of all South Africans. I've been called stupid. I'm waiting also myself to have my day at the commission, at Madlanga Commission. Ultimately, I will be charged. I expect to be pushed out. Is what is this whole thing all about?
The SAPS Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, was taken on formal leave in July 2025 following accusations that it obstructed investigations into politically motivated killings in KwaZulu-Natal. Although Sibiya has refuted the accusations, the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria maintained his suspension so that the investigation may continue. Sibiya said before the Madlanga Commission that he was not startled by the decision, but he was uninformed that then Police Minister Senzo Mchunu would dissolve the Political Killings Task Team, PKTT, on December 31, 2024. He informed the Commission that, because the matter has been considered at consultative sessions on November 1, 2024, National Police Commissioner Fanny Masemola did not object to the action. Sibiya has been under investigation for potential connections to criminal networks and has been charged with endorsing the PKTT's dissolution. Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal Police, said that 121 case dockets related to politically motivated killings were taken out of the PKTT in March 2025 and stored at Sibiya's Pretoria office.
We saw Mr. Mkhwanazi, Commissioner Mkhwanazi rather, conceding that he did in fact take money from Vusumuzi Cat Matlala, saying a petrol money there, a little bit of money here. Let's play you that clip.
Sometimes he'll give me money for petrol, or sometimes he'll borrow money from me, saying I'm lang male petrol, can you give me 500 rand, 300 rand. It's those monies. But we use, as I've said to you, we're beginning to be that close now, talking every day and meeting and discussing. Even after these failed things, he was never negative to me, you see. He was very positive, and you see, the only thing that stopped the communications, this news that, hey, now there was this shock and fear.
A key player in accusations of corruption, criminal infiltration, and power abuse within municipal law enforcement is Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi, the suspended Deputy Chief of the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. On November 11, 2025, he was placed on suspension due to accusations made in front of the commission that connected him to the torture and murder of Emmanuel Mbenza in 2022, as well as alleged improper transactions with Ken Matlala. Mkhwanazi is accused of fraud, corruption, and undermining the goals of justice. He was taken into custody on 18 April 2026. He was appearing with Kagiso Lerutla, the municipal manager of Ekurhuleni, who was taken into custody at OR Tambo International Airport on 19 April. The state claims that after Lerutla was detained for speeding in March 2019, the two planned a plot to avoid going to court. According to the prosecution, they hired and compensated a third party to pose as Lerutla in court and fill out diversion paperwork on his behalf. The two allegedly split about 400,000 rands for the plan, according to the authorities. On April 28, they made their initial appearance in the Bosberg Magistrate Court and were each given 30,000 rands bail.
Well, suspended SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Sergeant Fani Nkosi has suffered yet another blow. Well, the High Court in Pretoria found that the magistrate who presided over his bail application properly applied the law and that there was no cause to overturn that court's finding.
Sergeant Fani Nkosi, a suspended SAPS Organised Crime Section police officer, was detained on April 2nd during a raid at his Pretoria North residence after being suspended on March 28. Nkosi has been charged with serving as a go-between for top police personnel and Matlala. Additionally, he gave testimony to the Matlanga Commission. He is charged with a number of offences, including theft, defeating the administration of justice, 3 counts of failing to protect firearms, 8 counts of failing to protect ammunition, and unauthorized possession of explosives. After appealing a decision from the North Pretoria Magistrate Court, Nkosi was denied bail by the Pretoria High Court. According to Judge Mukhine Musopa, the lower court implemented the law correctly. Despite Nkosi's estimated monthly wage of roughly 60,000 rands, more than 50,000 rands in cash was discovered at his residence, and more than 300,000 rands reportedly passed through his bank account. The state claimed that Nkosi had not offered a convincing justification for the money and cautioned that, should he be freed, he would tamper with police systems, witnesses, or evidence.
We have promoted respect for the rule of law and also upheld the principle that law enforcement and prosecutorial agencies must be able to act without fear, favor, or prejudice. It is this principle that informs our response to the appearance in the Magistrates' Court earlier this week of the South African Police Service National Commissioner, General Fani Masemola.
I think the crisis that we're seeing now is that even if there's an acting National Police Commissioner, I think the crisis that she'll find herself in, it is the factionalism that is finding itself in law enforcement, particularly in SAPS, because one can't dispute the fact that even the case against Fani Masemola could be viewed as part of those factional fights. So that is a crisis that is engulfing that particular division. The second issue is that the crisis, therefore, of factionalism comes from the political interference and political drives that are made by political superiors that are part of the entire law enforcement system of our country.
On April 23, 2026, President Ramaphosa suspended National Police Commissioner General Fani Masemola as a precaution. Masemola was suspended after appearing in court on allegations related to the illegal awarding of a 228 million rands Medicare 24 Tshwane District Health Concession. On May 13, Masemola and 17 other defendants, including Matlala, appeared in the Pretoria Magistrate Court. Charges against the accused include money laundering, fraud, and violations of the Public Finance Management Act. In order to conduct additional research and potentially make changes to the charge sheet, the matter was rescheduled. Masemula is insistent that he does not fully comprehend the basis of the case against him and that the prosecution may have more expensive goals in mind. Lieutenant General Puleng Timpane was named Acting National Police Commissioner by Ramaphosa.
For now, let's take you to the Johannesburg Magistrates Court. Alleged political fixer Brown Mokgotsi has yet again been denied bail. He faces numerous charges, including perjury, defeating the ends of justice and unlawful possession of a firearm, over allegations that he staged an assassination attempt on himself in November last year.
I never said I'm a high priest. I said I'm a state agent, and I have an instrument called the Legend Building, which allows me, in circumstances in executing my duties, to use what you call a false life. It's part of what I do.
Shortly after finishing his testimony before the Matlanga Commission on May 15, Brown Mokgotsi, a Northwest businessman and suspected political fixer, was taken into custody. He is accused of unlawfully possessing a firearm and ammunition, discharging a firearm in a public area, defeating the ends of justice, and perjury. The accusation stems from claim that in November 2025, he made an attempt on his own life near Vosloorus. According to the prosecution, witnesses claim to have witnessed Mokgotsi stop his car, fire rounds at it, and then make an attempt on his life. The state further claims that he gave investigators false residential addresses and sought to bribe a police officer in relation to his bail application. The Johannesburg Magistrate Court denied Mokgotsi bail on June 4th after determining he was a flight risk and had not provided a valid residential address. According to Magistrate Annelies Tlhapi, it was challenging for officials to find him because he had 3 different residences. In order to provide Mokgotsi's legal team with a copy of the docket, the case was rescheduled for June 12. He remained in detention and planned to file an appeal with the Johannesburg High Court. Additionally, Mokgotsi was mentioned in testimony before the Matlanga Commission, where witnesses connected him to Matlala and claimed he provided private police information and made payments to political people.
The gunman who shot Witness D shot him from the car. And that could only be possible if you've got a highly trained gunman to do so. He shot 2 shots and Witness D was killed by 1 shot. So it tells you that given the background of Sotheni, they knew that Sotheni would do a clean job. He would execute and eliminate Witness D on the spot because of his training, because of the training that our Special Task Force members receive. So
On March 14, 2026, Matsiphandile Sotheni, a former member of the SAP Special Task Force, was taken into custody in relation to Marius van der Merwe's murder. On December 5, 2025, van der Merwe was shot and killed at his Brakpan residence in front of his wife and kids. Sotheni is accused of 16 crimes, including theft, ammunition-related offenses, illicit firearm possession, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. In November 2025, van der Merwe testified before the Matlanga Commission, linking suspended EMPT Deputy Chief Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi to Emmanuel Mpence's purported murder. Sotheni and Viandre Pretorius allegedly plotted to murder van der Merwe, according to the prosecution. Later, Pretorius self-deleted. On June 1st, the Brakpan Magistrate Court denied Sotheni bail. His release, according to the prosecution, might put the public in danger, scare witnesses, and compromise the administration of justice. The state claims that when he was arrested, an AK-47 rifle and ammunition were discovered in his car.
Your case is postponed until the 14th of July for further investigations back to this court, which is Court 2. Accused 1, 2, and 3 are to remain in custody. Bail has been granted. The amount is 20,000 rands each.
Along with Durban businessman Tariq Downs, Major General Feroz Khan, SAP's Deputy Head of Crime Intelligence and Head of Counterintelligence, and Major General Ibrahim Khatwa, Director of Gauteng Hawks, were taken into custody on May 10. The 3 accused with resisting or impeding the process of justice, as well as unlawfully dealing in and possession of precious metals. The allegations are related to an event that occurred on May 5, 2021 at OR Tambo International Airport, where Downs was allegedly discovered in possession of 75.9 grams of gold, which was estimated to be worth 62,000 rands. Each of the three was given 20,000 rands bail after appearing before the Kempton Park Magistrate Court on May 11. Downs claimed to be an undercover agent connected to high SAPS personnel. According to the National Prosecuting Authority, there was supposedly no authorized undercover precious metal operation in place at the time, according to investigators. The state further claimed that despite the lack of supporting documents, Khan and Kadwa gave officers orders to release Downs. For additional inquiry, the subject was rescheduled for July 14. The Deputy District Commissioner of Sedibeng, Brigadier Mbangwa Abraham Kwashu, has been accused of meddling in the murder investigation of engineer Aman Swart of Vereeniging. On April 17, 2024, Swart was shot 23 times. A recorded phone conversation in which Nkwashu allegedly asked investigators to turn over the case docket is among the evidence presented to the commission. He was also asked about his connection to Katiso Molefe, an alleged criminal boss who was charged with planning the murder of Aman Swart. The panel was informed that Nkwashu pretended to be a relative when visiting Molefe at a correctional center after hours in a car that was unlicensed. Nkwashu was suspended as a result of the accusations.
About 5 a.m. this morning, telling us that the suspended organized national crime head Richard Shibiri has been dismissed. He's been fired from office and received this letter on the 22nd of May.
Major General Richard Shibiri, the former head of SAPS organized crime, was fired on June 5th after internal disciplinary proceedings were completed. Prior to his suspension in February 2025, Shibiri was in charge of investigations pertaining to illegal mining, gangs, transactional crime, drugs, extortion, and economic infrastructure. SAPS affirmed in a statement that the disciplinary actions were carried out in compliance with organizational guidelines and procedural fairness standards. The firing comes after embarrassing testimony was given before the commission, where it was revealed that Shibiri, an infamous businessman Ket Matlala, had financial relations. According to the evidence given to the commission, Matlala, who had been connected to charges of organized crime on multiple occasions, paid Shibiri between 70 and 80,000 rands. Shibiri provided conflicting justifications for the payment during cross-examination, characterizing it as a private loan to finance building his property or to fix his son's car. But according to financial documents, Shibiri had enough money in his bank account at the time. Investigators also noted that, over the same time period, consumers spent money on luxury labels like Louis Vuitton and Gucci. Further evidence connected Shibiri to suspected meddling in a number of high-profile cases, such as the 300 million rands drug bust in Aretin and the murder investigation of engineer Aman Swart. He allegedly tried to sway investigations and coerced the police engaged in the cases to stop opposing bail requests, according to witnesses. Justice Mbuyisile Madlanga, the head of the inquiry, and other commissioners frequently questioned Shibiri's testimony, casting doubt on its veracity. The commission has been successful in revealing purported criminal infiltration and corruption at the highest echelons of law enforcement. On May 29, 2026, the commission sent Ramaphosa its second interim report. On August 31st, it is expected to wrap up its work and provide its final report to Ramaphosa.